Streaming. Some of y'all may know streaming as the easiest job ever. Some of y'all may know streaming as the hardest job ever. This clip is a joke, by the way. I just put it in because I thought it was funny. But there's this one streamer that averages tens of thousands of viewers per stream and makes millions of dollars a year, who recently had this take and got into a lot of trouble for it.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired. But a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. So...
Now, originally seeing this post, you may be like every other normal person and think, wow, this is the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Because a real job also sucks the soul out of you because you don't get paid anything. I mean, if you don't live with your parents and, you know, you have your own place, basically what a real job just getting out of college will do to you is you'll have to work some shitty job, you'll get some shitty wage, and you won't even be able to afford everything in your life. You'll only be able to afford rent, food, utilities, bills. You can't really afford anything outside of that with a normal job. But Willie Mac put out this tweet saying this guy makes shit up for 9 hours a day and his commute to work is walking into his 5th bedroom in his $3 million mansion, but somehow a real job is hard. And Hassan responded to that and said, "It's wild how this completely out of context clip made its way to Twitter so fast. I was talking about how much a 9-hour stream eats away at my social battery and how I can't socialize after, comparing it to my sales job before. I recognize how fortunate I am every day." And he linked this minute 50-second long clip, and we're going to check this out too and see if this changes my perspective or anybody else's perspective after.
No. Social battery wise, unless you're in fucking retail, it's very different. You're out of touch. I'm going to die, dude. There's motherfuckers who are accountants in here and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same fucking way as someone who did a sales job, a real job, okay? I'm telling you, as someone who did both, like 9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably do fucking physical labor. It would not bother me. But I can't fucking do more social shit. That's my point. Like, there are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people-pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are like, I think, customer service type shit. But like, if you're an accountant or if you're even like in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than like constantly having to do this for 9 hours with like a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like sucks your social battery and you just tap out after it. Yeah, think about it this way. Like, you give presentations for your job, right? Imagine giving a presentation for 9 hours straight. It's like, after a while, you would be like, I don't want to talk ever again.
Now, I do think this minute 50-second long clip does make what he said a little bit more understandable, where he says, you know, when I sit here and I stream for 9 hours a day, my social battery is just completely fucking drained. I don't want to talk to people after I stream, and that's completely understandable. It gets a little tricky when he tries to compare it to other jobs. And he says that, you know, other jobs that would be comparable to streaming in that social battery aspect would be any customer service job. And I don't think that's comparable at all. I think the only statement that he could have made that would be fine and would warrant no criticism would be a statement where he says, yeah, you know, for me, when I stream for 9 hours, after that 9-hour period, I just kind of don't want to talk to people. It completely drains my social battery. In comparison to, you know, when I did my sales job, I just didn't get drained. And like, if he just made it about himself, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal. And a lot of people, a lot of streamers are actually defending his, you know, full context clip. And they're saying that, yeah, you know, I'm the same way. Which is probably true. You know, when you sit here and you talk to people for 9 hours, it's probably true that you get a little socially drained and you don't want to talk to people afterwards. That makes sense. But comparing it to a real job is so crazy to me, and I don't know why he was like, you know what, let me make this comparison. Because even with a regular, normal job, even with a regular social interaction heavy job like a cashier, for example, because I used to be a cashier, so I'll make this example. A cashier is way more difficult. A cashier is way more difficult than sitting and streaming. Obviously, I think everybody would agree with that, right? They're not comparable at all. I didn't even think they were, and this is obviously my personal opinion, but I was never even socially drained. I've never been socially drained in my life. Like I've never, and to be fair, I don't really talk to that many people, so maybe that's why. But the only thing that I found annoying about my cashier job, it was how rude the managers were, how rude the fucking stupid customers were. The customers were so stupid and rude. Bro, like this is what it's like when you work with people. You can have an amazing day and talk to hundreds of people. It takes one person to fuck your whole day up. It takes one person to fuck your whole day up. They say some rude comment to you for no reason. You're literally just doing your job. There were many times when I was at the self-checkout and we'd have this massive line. And, you know, when you're working at a place, there are different roles. There's a manager, there's the cashier. You know, I worked at Walmart, for example. So there were somebody in electronics, somebody in, you know, eye vision, whatever that's called, optometrist, that type of shit, you know, pharmacy. There's people in all these different things, and customers, a lot of them, unfortunately, are very stupid and do not, which is so weird to me because I feel like a lot of people have worked these, you know, entry-level jobs when they first get out of school and try to get some experience in the workforce, but people don't really seem to understand the concept that a lot of jobs have different titles. There's a lot of different people working there. So the person in electronics doesn't know how to do the cashier job. The manager, you know, just manages all the people. And so basically what I'm getting at by saying all that is that one time this lady came up to me. There was a massive line at the self-checkout. I was monitoring the self-checkout basically to, you know, make sure people aren't stealing. And this lady came up to me after there was this massive line, and she said, "You need to add more people here. You need to add more people because there's like no registers open. Only the self-checkout is open, and this line is so long." And I explained to her that I'm not the manager. I can't do that. And I'm not going to even tell my fucking manager to do that because my manager can't pull people from other roles. And my manager can't magically make people come in. You know, if they knew that it was going to be like this, they would have called people in like the day before and be like, "Hey, can you work in? We're kind of short-staffed this day." Like, that is not my fault. And so that one lady saying that stupid shit and just, she was yelling at me. She was pissed that I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not the manager, so I can't really do anything about that. I'm sorry." She was so fucking mad at that. And so, you know, that ruined my whole day. So my point is that comparing this to any job is so insane. I mean, even another regular job, like another social interaction heavy job, you can have back pain. Like there's so many different aspects. And to compare that to streaming where you set your own hours, you eat whenever you want, that's a big thing as well. If you're hungry on the job, it's like, well, you have to wait for your lunch break. You know what I mean? To sit here, stream, be in front of thousands of people, watch, react to shit, watch other videos, play video games, and just have a good time. You can say anything you want. You can curse. You can do anything. You know what I mean? You know, to a certain extent. It's like, it's just not comparable. And it's just crazy to me. I don't know why he would compare it. I do think that his take here about it draining his social battery is true. It probably does drain your social battery for a lot of people. You know, especially if you really get into the analytics of it and you're like, shit, I had, you know, this many viewers this stream, I had way less viewers. What the fuck is going on? It is a little stressful in that aspect. It's also probably stressful in the aspect that you don't know how much money you're going to make from month to month, right? Like you could have a really good month and the next month you're like, oh God, am I going to make that same amount? Like, you know, there's no security with it. But Hasan has made so much money, he can retire whenever he wants. And so to compare with how much money he earns, with what work he does, with how easy it is to compare it to a regular job, even if it is just a regular social interaction job, is pretty crazy to me. And yeah, that's my take. That's all I really wanted to talk about. This really blew up on Twitter. It has millions of views. A lot of people are talking about it. And then Hasan put this tweet up, which I do think is pretty funny. I liked it. It says, "What's harder than this? This guy doing this crazy backbreaking work," and Hassan says Twitch streaming. It is funny. I'll give him that. He made a good joke. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, y'all.